Happy Thanksgiving. We know everybody's basically checked out and getting ready for Turkey Day. Trust me, people around here definitely are. But we're still going to give you the top stories of the day. Here's what's on tap. Pete Buttigieg is told to check his privilege. Our standardized tests getting the boot. And what's ahead on the impeachment front? I'm Jamal Simmons. Here's why you should care. Pete Buttigieg, a lying mother. That's what writer Michael Harriot wrote over at TheRoot.com. Harriot was incensed by a video that emerged from 2011 that showed Mayor Pete talking about the challenges of low income and minority education, as he put it. Here's what he said.
You know, the kids need to see evidence that education is going to work for them, right? So you see a lot of parts of town.
That's part of the motivation.
Yeah, because you're motivated because you believe that at the end of your educational process there's a reward, there's a stable life, there's a job, and there are a lot of kids, especially the lower income minority neighborhoods, who literally just haven't seen it work. There isn't somebody they know personally
and I think that's
who testifies to the value of education. So yeah.
So Harriot bucked up hard when he saw this. He told a story about his struggle to get to school, past the drug dealers and over a ditch. I know it's pain. Harriot says he got a wad of cash from his dope boy friends when he went off to college. I didn't get money, but I did get pushed off the porch. You can't hang out here, I was told. There's too much going down and you got too much to lose. It's a true story. On the other hand, Pete Buttigieg had professional parents who put him into a great private school that led him to Harvard and a Rhodes Scholarship. Harriot wants Pete to check his privilege. Harriot says the lack of investment in schools matters more than the lack of role models. Pete wants kids to be invested in the system, but the system results in black college graduates making 80 cents for every dollar a white college grad earns, and black grads have higher debt. Quote, but Pete says it could all be solved with a vision board. After Harriet's story, the internet went crazy. The story got over 1 million reactions. Mayor Pete's reaction? He called Harriot. I don't think I've ever been called a lying mother before. That's what Pete said when Harriet picked up the phone. I'll give him style points at least. They talked for 18 minutes and Harriet says Mayor Pete mostly just listened, although they did have a back and forth. Now, why should you care? Pete Buttigieg wants to be president of the United States, and the fundamental point Michael Harriot was making is that a president can't do anything about confidence, so he shouldn't talk that much about it. A president can do something about investment in education and schools and the conditions families live in. And Harriet argues Pete should know better than to make black aspiration the problem more than systemic racism. Fixing schools is a challenge for the whole country, and in a country becoming as diverse as the United States, we can't afford to leave a generation of black and brown kids behind. The truth is, we need kids to have more skills. We also need them to have a drive to succeed, but they need the opportunity to use those skills. Anybody who wants to lead the country has to grapple with the totality of the problem we face on this front. Advocates want to say BYE to the SATs and ACTs. A coalition of 12 advocacy groups, including law firms and a school district, is demanding that the University of California stop requiring applicants to submit results from the SAT or ACT, the two tests most associated with college admissions. And now they are preparing to file a lawsuit against the UC system. The reasoning: advocates against the SATs and ACTs argue that they are discriminatory and don't accurately predict how a child will perform in college, but instead act as a representation of their socioeconomic status. The lawsuit may have support in high places. UC Berkeley's chancellor and UC System's chief academic officer, Carol Kress, told attendees at a university forum that the tests do contribute to inequalities of the school system. And the chancellor of UC Santa Cruz told the LA Times that the students' potential cannot be reduced to a number. The companies that create the SAT and ACT deny there any bias in their exams. Now, why should you care about all this? I'm sure many of us took the ACT and SATs, regardless of what we did afterwards. And despite their long history and widespread use, studies show there's not much correlation between the scores and the success rates of students, and that high school grades are the strongest single predictor of success. You should have seen my grades. What's more is that wealthier students have the advantage of being able to pay for tutors, classes, and fees that go along with taking the test. According to a recent IBIS World Report, examination prep services make up 25% of the $1.1 billion tutoring and test prep industry. Getting rid of the SAT and ACT requirements isn't new. According to the National Center for Fair and Open Testing, 40% of all four-year colleges are now test optional. And according to a recent study, when schools do opt out, they see a spike in diversity without any decline in graduation rates. If the UC systems get on board, it could have a major ripple effect in higher education. With Congress in recess for Thanksgiving week, we got a little break from the impeachment showdown. But committee staffers were still working hard as the effort to take Trump out of office is well underway. The Intelligence Committee was at the center of the public inquiry the last 2 weeks, examining the nature of President Trump's dealings with Ukraine. Now the House Judiciary Committee will step forward to take the reins in a new phase of the investigation. In a letter to President Trump, Chairman Jerry Nadler announced it will hold a hearing on December 4th, Jay-Z's birthday, that's next week, to delve into, quote, the historical and constitutional basis of impeachment. Basically, they're going to be looking into whether there's a legal basis for impeaching Trump. Constitutional lawyers will be testifying in next week's hearing. Nadler did extend an invite to President Trump and lawyers to sit in, but Trump only tweeted about the matter, calling it a, quote, phony impeachment hoax, and he didn't respond when reporters shouted questions at him about whether he'd testify as he left the White House Wednesday evening. The House Intelligence Committee is expected to pass on a report with its findings to the judiciary. Why you should care? President Trump and the White House continue to deny any quid pro quo, but that's not stopping Democrats from moving forward. Dems and Judiciary got a win yesterday after a federal judge ruled former White House counsel Don McGahn has to testify. So as we wind down for a relaxing Thanksgiving feast and football, the White House is left on edge, prepping for a fight to block McGahn from testifying, and a whole lot more to come. Thanks for watching Hill TV on YouTube. Be sure to click subscribe and hit the bell so you know when we post new videos, and head to thehill.com for all the latest political news.